People always say Geminis are two-faced. Well, as a Gemini, I have always hated that stereotype. I can finally say though that I've met the other half of myself, a really dark one. I call her Insecurina. Insecurina is a shadow that follows me, Karina, around. After being laid off for the second time, my shadow had grown so large, it had consumed me whole. I just had a really big cry sesh with my brother and it was so embarrassing. Really questioning myself, wondering if I'm just like really bad at my job, if I'm like a bad engineer. If you're watching this thinking I'm being melodramatic, I would argue that there aren't enough visceral representations of the emotions one goes through following a layoff on the internet. Some people live to work, while others work to live. And as much as it is in vogue to be blasé about late-stage capitalism, deep down I've always known that I'm a live-to-work kind of person. I've always told myself that no matter what, I'm not gonna have kids until I'm happy with the trajectory where my career is going. I will achieve great things. Girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep. In college, I had done all the things. I was on the exec board of a consulting organization. I won a hackathon. Heck, I even wrote a book. Unfortunately, much of my self-worth and identity is tied to my career. So when I lost my job, I lost who I was. I felt the sheer panic of a quarter-life crisis so bad, I didn't know who to be or how to reinvent myself. Body image, my love life, social media. These, of course, spark little embers of insecurity. But being laid off was like throwing a log in the fire of my deepest, darkest fears. That I'm not smart enough to achieve what I want to achieve. That no matter what I do or how hard I try, I'm just not good enough. That it would be futile because innately, for some reason, I just cannot do it. Whoa. I'm starting to sound like a BetterHelp ad. Sponsor me, please. Though honestly, making this video has been kind of like therapy. It was really hard to come to terms with these feelings at first, but acknowledging these thoughts have helped me realize how unreasonable I'm being towards myself. It's actually pretty self-centered that I think that I'm especially worse off, that I'm indefatigably incapable, that it was my fault I was laid off when the companies I had worked for just were not in a financial position to pay some of its employees anymore. So for all of you who are watching and may or may not have been laid off, if you're relating to these feelings, maybe internalizing some of these insecurities as I had, just know that you are not alone, but also know that it's not your fault. Sometimes it can feel really isolating and triggering to see everyone around you go on with their lives. Sometimes I can't help but feel left behind. And while being laid off feels unlucky, I also have a lot to be grateful for. First of all, I'm a US citizen, so I don't have to worry about being kicked out of the country. Secondly, luckily, I can move back into my parents' house and sublet out my apartment until I'm more financially stable. I'm healthy and I was already thinking of pivoting my career anyway. I'll be really honest with myself and you. I didn't love software engineering the way I thought I would. And that was probably a large source of my inner torment. While my work became my identity, I didn't love my work. And that probably contributed to a lot of self-hatred. I never felt good enough, but I also didn't want to invest the time to be better because I didn't like it. I've been reading this book, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. One of my previous work colleagues recommended this to me. I highly recommend it. He says, the way to get out of the competition trap is to be authentic, to find the thing you know how to do better than anybody. You know how to do it better because you love it, and no one can compete with you. Objectively, there will be other engineers who genuinely get excited about building and managing ETL pipelines, way more than I do. And if I'm not as in love with it as they are, they will always outperform me. The biggest thing I've learned from this period of my life is that if you're going to make work a large part of your identity, you have to like what you do. Otherwise, you're going to hate yourself. I'm not sure how long this period of my life will last, but I'll share about my journey for as long as I'm in it so that you can follow along with me and know you're not alone. I will be here so you have someone who's job searching alongside you. What I'm doing now is trying to figure out what I do like. Since I'm cognizant of my privileges, being able to stay at my parents' house for a while, I'm really gonna take my time. My only duty right now is to be authentic. All the things I said I didn't have the time to do, but I wanted to while I was working, I'm doing now. Like painting my nails, baking, reading. Most significantly, I started my fashion TikTok, which I said I was going to do for the longest time. And that has been so rewarding. It really is true that you should do what you like, because I've been so surprised with the growth I've experienced on my TikTok. It's been extremely validating because something I've loved for so long and have kept to myself because, I don't know, software engineers aren't really into that kind of thing, or it's frivolous and unimportant. Whatever the reason, now that I'm starting to authentically share the things that I love, I've been so overwhelmed and grateful for how much it's been resonating with people. It's because I post every day, and I post every day because I could talk all day about fashion. Right now, the world is my oyster. Kind of like Evelyn from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Right now, I'm nothing, so I have the greatest potential to be anything. While I might not be able to tap into parallel versions of myself, I'm exploring multifaceted interests like a true Gemini. Finding these little joys in my life helps inform me about what I would want to do next in my career. I'm confident that as I continue to express myself authentically, a path forward out of all of this darkness and insecurity will illuminate itself. Thank you for watching today's video. It's a bit unusual, but if you've stuck all the way to the end, thank you for being here and thank you for watching. I'm very grateful for you. If you liked this video, consider subscribing. It would make me smile. Can't wait to see you in the next video, baddies.